We are back in open session. Chancellor Burke will provide a welcome greeting.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our hybrid board meeting of the South Orange County Community College District. We thank you for your patience as we continue to navigate this virtual platform. We welcome trustees Marcia Milchiker, Tim Jamal, Terry Whitt-Rydell, Barbara Jay, Carolyn Inman, TJ Prendergast, James Wright, and student trustees Satara Mateen, who are joining us in person. We welcome members of our district community who are participating virtually and members of the public who are viewing the meeting live via Zoom webinar. Please be advised that everyone participating via Zoom video or call has been muted. Following the meeting, the district will make the recording available on the SOCCCD website. The audio of this meeting is being closed captioned in real time. The board is open to receiving public comments. Pursuant to Governor Newsom's Executive Order N-15-21, and in compliance with AB 361, the published agenda stated that members of the public requesting to provide comments will be given the opportunity to ask questions by making public comments directly via remote access and in real time during the meeting. Members of the public wishing to make a comment will be instructed to unmute their audio and must comply with the 2-minute time limit. I would now like to turn the meeting over to Trustee Milchiker, who will call the meeting to order.
The November 15th, 2021 meeting of the South Orange County Community College District Board of Trustees is hereby called to order. The governing board meeting is conducted pursuant to California Government Code Section 54953, Assembly Bill 361, and Governor Newsom's Executive Order N-15-21. I welcome back the trustees who are attending in person. District staff and members of the public are attending the meeting virtually via Zoom webinar. Is there a report on actions taken in closed session?
Yes, there was. A public report of action taken during closed session on today, November the 15th, was on a 4-2 vote with trustees Jay and Whitt-Rydell casting a negative vote and trustee Rydell abstaining. The board approved a non-renewal of an educational administrator employment contract.
Thank you, Trustee Whitt-Rydell.
Excuse me, there's another one.
Okay.
Sorry, so sorry. Okay, another public report, action taken during our closed session. It was, the board approved a non-renewal of educational administrative employment of contract and reclassification to classify an administrator. 7-0.
Thank you, Trustee Whitt-Rydell. Next, we will have an invocation led by Trustee Inman, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Trustee Jay. So, Trustee Inman?
This has been a challenging year.
You don't have to.
You can sit out. You know what, I've got it here. This has been a challenging year, but there still is much to celebrate. When I was a small child, I fell in love with this song, Count Your Blessings, by Irving Berlin for White Christmas, the movie. Many people probably weren't even born when that movie was out and that song, but it's kind of a classic and it remains in our repertoire. It reminds me that we're going into a Thanksgiving era, and we have many blessings to be thankful for here at the colleges. We are thankful, for instance, last week we celebrated Veterans Day, and we're very thankful for our student veterans. Our home and our hearts are open to them, and we are thankful for what they have done for us and for our country. We're also thankful for foundations that do so much to help students. Saturday night's gala was a wonderful blessing for our students, as was the programs for emergency funds that they did during COVID. We have a special shout out to Satara, who is working with the foundation on a special refugee project. The wonderful thing about Saturday night, I think, was the real sense of community. I am constantly reminded, and remind others on occasion, that we are a community college, not a first 2 years of something else, but a community college. And we felt that on Saturday night as people gave and gave many donations, for which we are very grateful. So happy Thanksgiving for everyone, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now for the Pledge of Allegiance to our great country. Please stand and face the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next section is public comments, and members of the public wishing to comment on an agenda item or on other matters of interest to the public that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board will be given an opportunity to ask questions by making public comments directly via remote access and in real time during the meeting. Members of the public wishing to make a comment will be required to use the raise your hand feature, and then will be unmuted and asked to speak. A 2-minute time limit for each speaker will be observed. Be advised that the maximum time allotment for public speakers on any one topic, regardless of the number of speakers, shall be 20 minutes. Are there any public comments?
We have two.
Two? Okay, thank you. Can they?
I'm allowing to speak Meredith Thomas first.
Thank you so much. Okay, Meredith Thomas?
Thank you. Good evening, friends. My name is Meredith Thomas. I'm a faculty tutorial specialist with Saddleback College. Many years ago, I enjoyed attending classes in the Emeritus program. Also, my 4 children attended Saddleback College. In 2016, I joined Saddleback College to be a teacher with the AESL program. We teach English as a second language. My relationship with Saddleback has always been positive and fulfilling. Recently, something changed. I'm told that Saddleback now has made a healthcare decision for me. This school is insisting that I inject my body against my will, against my health choices, and against my very beliefs. This is my body, yet you say it's okay for you to decide for me about my health. The mandate to vaccinate is unethical. It violates laws that are the bedrock of democracy. As American citizens, we are free people. We have constitutionally guaranteed freedoms. If FSOC-CCD moves forward with this mandate against my freedom, you threaten not only that, but you threaten our country and its values that we all purport to hold dear. This country is founded on liberty and freedom of choice. Vaccine mandates are coercive. I have now been threatened with loss of employment. This pandemic does not meet the criteria necessary to justify violating personal autonomy. Let me end with this. For any listener that I have unwittingly trespassed with my words today, please forgive me. I too must forgive those who insist on this mandate for your trespasses against me for threatening my work and my income and my health. I pray that I not be led into the temptation to be angry with you, but to be delivered from this evil. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Now, are there somebody else that would like to speak?
Yes, we have Seth Hockwald.
Okay, Seth Hockwell. Hi, Seth.
Actually, I'm Karen Hockwald, Professor Hockwald's wife. So all of you know, because I've emailed this to you, that Governor Gavin Newsom is allowing California state employees to have the option of vaccinate or test. So I'd like to know why, because we can ask questions. I need you to answer this. Why won't you allow the district employees to have the same option, vaccinate or test, that the governor is giving the hardworking employees of California? I need an answer.
I don't have an answer right now. We're taking your comments into consideration. Thank you.
Well, but you're mandating this. Why won't you give them an option? Of course you know why you're doing it, but I don't understand why you won't give, if it's good enough for the California state employees. You know a lot of people don't like this. I also know that you know that the enrollments are tanking. We heard from a lot of people after we spoke at the last meeting, including students. The reason your enrollments are tanking is the students don't want to take the vaccine and they can't come on campus without it. I'm sure you know the enrollments are bad. They're on campus enrollments.
Well,
It's due to the mandate.
Well, thank you for your comments. Both of our student governments had resolutions that they were asking for the mandate. They both had resolutions in favor of the mandate. And I'm just telling you that was the fact. Okay, I'm not arguing with you, but thank you for your comments.
That's all we had for public
Okay,
comment.
okay, thank you for your comments. And now we're moving forward with the board meeting. And right now, we're moving to board reports. And the first board report, I think we'll start with trustee Inman, or did we start with you last time?
Okay.
Okay, do you want to start? Okay.
Mine will be short because I've already talked. Mostly, there wasn't too much going on publicly last month, but I did go to the gala, as I've already said. Tuesday through Friday, however, I'm going to be sitting at my computer for the CCLC annual convention. And none of my friends can really believe I'm going to do 4 days of Zoom. But hopefully there's a lot to learn, and that's what I intend to do. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, trustee Jay, thank you, trustee Inman.
This is on October 26th at the IVC Foundation Board meeting. I heard a wonderful presentation from Adam Lopez and two IVC students about the new esports program. This was a new concept for me. I learned so much. Esports is short for electronic sports and is a term used to describe the act of competitive video gaming. IVC started researching the possibility of having an esport program in 2017 and officially launched its program in January 2021. They now have over 70 competitors, 10 team managers, 8 student coaches, 6 faculty coaches, 12 ecosystem club leaders, and over 500 community members total in their Discord. A Discord is a centralized platform used to engage their community. This is unusually large for such a young collegiate esport program, and more people join every week. Mr. Lopez told us that the teams are already competing and doing quite well. I believe that the eSport program is going to attract students to IVC and look forward to watching it grow. Thank you.
Thanks, trustee Jay, and trustee Jamal.
Want me to go next?
Trustee Jamal, yeah.
Thank you. A couple of weeks ago, had an awesome tour of Irvine Valley College with State Senator Dave Min. I think he was very impressed what's happening at Irvine Valley College, what we're doing in terms of our programs, with our veterans, with the healthcare center, with some of the capital improvements that are taking place. He asked a lot of questions, and I think Dr. Hernandez, your team, and everyone who helped organize that. I think you, oftentimes elected officials visit, and maybe it doesn't have quite the impact. I saw it had an impact on Senator Min. He was very, very impressed with what IVC is doing. So kudos to you. Well deserved, I think, to get that kind of support from one of our state senators. The trustee Inman mentioned the Saddleback College Foundation Gala. It was awesome to attend. I certainly hope that and believe, based on what I hear, that funds were raised that will assist our students and our programs. And trustee Inman, good to see you there, and trustee Milchiker and your husband, and others who were there. I think from the district. Cindy Viscachill sat at our table, and so many from the community and from Saddleback College, and of course, one of my favorite performers now, who I've seen twice, is Gabby Jackson, who again, she steals the show every time. But more importantly, I think what it did for the foundation and the giving that and the support it provides to students and other programs It's awesome. Hope to attend the IVC Foundation in the spring as well. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We live in a great country. We live in a free country. We have liberty. We have rights that many other countries in the world don't have, and we're very grateful for that. Thank you.
Okay, next trustee Whit-Raydell.
Good evening, everyone. I attended two webinars this past month. I was a little out of commission, and I'm sorry I couldn't attend the gala, which I normally do, and Senator Min's visit to IVC. I was very, very excited that when he canceled it, we could meet him again. But let me just tell you what happened to me, and then I'm going to tell you about one special meeting on webinar. I ended up with COVID. At my last meeting, I was diagnosed that morning with COVID, and I just want to tell you something. I have been in many isolation rooms, many isolation rooms as a nurse, but now I'm the patient in an isolation room, and they had rebuilt the entire back of Saddleback Hospital where I used to work with students and as for pay. And I was put into this room because I went for the monoclonal antibodies. And I was so surprised that the nurse didn't come to me in full-blown gear, but now she knows that I've just been diagnosed with COVID. So let's get to the story. As I was receiving my infusion, the roar in that room was absolutely magnificent. I had a HEPA filter 500 next to me that almost broke my eardrums.
Wow.
It was so incredibly cold. I asked for a blanket and I got a bed bath. You all know what those are, but that was it. It's okay. And I wasn't hooked up as I was supposed to have been, but that was okay too. I'm a nurse, I can handle this. And as I'm lying there, and nobody came to visit me, my infusion pump didn't go off, so nobody came to look. There was a huge door, I mean a massive fire door there. It was about 3-4 inches thick. Because when she did come, when the IV pump was done, she had to come in, and I just noticed this huge door with this window. And it sort of reminded me, do you remember those movies that you saw from the 1930s and 40s where the psychiatric patients were in? And it was such an isolated room. And then I thought, and I shared this already with just a few of you, I thought of how scared I was, how lonely I was, and the feeling of hopelessness. Then I thought, no, I'm not really hopeless. But then I thought of all the people that died in that room. Now, I'm vaccinated, and I had hope. And I understand all of you, and I respect you when you talk about personal autonomy and everything. But I want to tell you for your safety. Yes, we are injected with a vaccine. But with my history and my lungs, I believe that I am not on a ventilator. And having that experience, you can't talk about it really until you have it. And I had hope. I do respect all of you and the public, and I understand with certain age groups, I really understand you. But for all of us, understand the reason why we want mandates. We want to be safe, to have a safe campus, and we want our students and faculty to be safe. I'm hoping that we as a board can even talk about medical recommendations from physicians, and we'll be able to work with that. I do believe in the next 6 months, we're going to be talking more about testing, because yes, if state employees are being able to do that, let us look into that. I can't say that we can talk about it right now, but we are all on this board open. We want the best for our community and our constituents. And I did want to share, okay, that's enough about COVID. I did want to share one other thing that was very cool. Board, listen to this. I took a webinar, and 80% of the participants were trustees. And it was from colleges in Tahoe area, San Jose, Inland Empire, and they were all trustees, just like us. And they were talking about how involved they were with the colleges in their DEA programs. And then I thought a lot about our student associations and what they're doing for all of this. And at our next meeting, I hope we can talk about this. And I would even like to be considered a representative or a couple of us to deal with being on top of what's happening on our campus and how we can communicate and better our students and our faculty and staff when it comes to DEA. I'm going to put together something for all of us next week or next month that I got. And so you can, the recommendations, I'm sure our presidents have already seen some of those recommendations. And the second webinar had to do with transportation and what the needs are for our students in regards to coming on campus, being able to access it. All right, I'm well and healthy, and I hope all of you stay that way and reconsider all of you what you are doing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And trustee Prendergast.
Diversity, equity, and... Oh. DEI.
No,
I'm
DEI.
sorry, everyone, I meant
Diversity, equity,
DEI,
and
yes.
inclusion.
Well, she had
Watching
said
too many
A
movies.
instead of I. It's like, I don't mind getting involved in things, but I gotta know what it is. Anyway, all right, thank you. Attended, the Orange County School Board Association dinner meeting on October 27th. Had an excellent presentation on, mental wellness and just living for the moment and being as positive as one can be through hard times and good. And it was really, really well done. And I really wish a lot of you guys could have been there for it. It was great presentation and really good information. They're supposed to be forwarding us the elements of it, but they haven't done it yet. So I'm going to keep looking into that. And I have a meeting Wednesday where I'm going to be asking for that so I can forward it to you guys. So yeah, we have that meeting this coming Wednesday for that board. Just want to say, in the spirit of Trustee Inman's invocation, thank you to our veterans. Thank you to everyone at the colleges and their involvement, and looking forward to being able to use Thanksgiving to really express those thanks with family and friends and colleagues throughout. And with that, Trustee Wright.
Thank you, trustee Wright. Thank you.
On Saturday, October the 30th, 2021, my wife and I attended the Saddleback College football game with Southwestern College. Saddleback College won 49-7.
Good.
My wife and I attended the first Saddleback College basketball game on Tuesday, just last Tuesday, November the 6th, 2021. They played a 5 p.m. against Southwestern. The new head coach is Jeff Oliver. Saddleback College won, with the final score being 55-46. Let me close my remarks by pointing out that both Saddleback College and Irvine Valley College have wonderful support for our veterans, many of who have gone on to pursue their higher education. As a veteran, I thank you for all that support you have given us. Have a happy
Thanksgiving.
have a nice night. Nice.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, trustee Wright. I attended a CCLC trustee housing webinar, and right now many of the community colleges are attempting to assist students with housing insecurities. And our district has applied for a $3.5 million grant to investigate student housing feasibility for our students who might have housing insecurities. And the gorgeous plants I purchased at the Saddleback College plant sale last week are looking splendid in my yard. As trustee Jamal mentioned, the tour of IBC with Senator Min was very well done. The Orange County Business Council red tape to red carpet virtual ceremony awarded our district the 2021 award for incorporating innovative technology for a fully integrated online bidding system. So we successfully streamlined the process, getting rid of the red tape. And this is listed in detail in Vice Chancellor Gable's board report on tonight's agenda. I attended a presentation given by Professor Aaron Pollard. A very articulate Kiowa tribal member spoke. He talked about the college he went to, the Haskell's Indian Nations University, and it was very, very interesting to hear his presentation. And as Trustee Jamal said, my husband and I attended the IVC gala with some of the other board members, Trustee Jamal and Trustee Inman, and Trustee Whit Rydell actually donated to it. Her name was mentioned. And just so everybody knows, the board, no one is comped for the gala. When the board members attend, they pay full price, which they absolutely should. And I mostly love the student success stories. They were wonderful. And the amount they raised at this gala was record breaking. And the U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein announced she has awarded $610,000 to our district to address inequities experienced by veterans. And I want to thank her and our staff for these additional funds to assist our veterans, our very beloved veterans. And there's just a few things I want to mention. Saddleback College, the Feast of Lights is coming up, which is fabulous, December 3rd to 5th. And there's other performances too that you can go attend, Winter Dance and Gift of the Last Tree. And Irvine Valley College, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, and IVC Dance Resurgence. So there's wonderful, and these performances are in person now. Just like our students are coming back, our performances are coming back, and they're wonderful. So take advantage of them. So Trustee Satina, do you have a report? Satina? Thank you again for your wonderful support of our international students and our foreign students.
Yeah, of
Thank you.
course. I don't have too much, but the same as the other board members, I was able to attend the gala, and I heard a lot of students' amazing stories and their goals and the help they received through the foundation.
Yeah, thank you for attending the gala as well. Right now, we go to the other reports. Right now, the Associated Student Government reports. Sam Lockhart from Saddleback College and D'Angelo Hunter for IVC.
Good evening, trustees. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Excellent. First off, in the order of business, it has recently been reported to me that there may be some issue with our disabled student services on campus, specifically that the button to open doors for wheelchair-bound students may not be entirely operational. I reported that as much to the Office of the President, and will report it to the DSPS, but otherwise, on the order of pleasure, or the order of pleasure, yes, the gala, I attended that, and ASG attended that as well. And the reaction to that was enormously positive. ASG had an enormously good time, and we enjoyed ourselves. We enjoyed being able to associate more with our sponsors at Saddleback, and we thank we thank our sponsors and scholarship sponsors, and we congratulate the individuals who received scholarships and were recognized at the gala. And that is all for me. Oh, one more thing, if I may. Recently, we had an undocumented student action week where ASG hosted, and along with student development, hosted a table where undocumented students or students who wish to participate could post notes and basically make their stories known, sponsor undocumented students, and do good in that essence. So thank you for hearing me out.
Well, thank you. Thank you for checking into that. The door's not opening. Appreciate you doing that. And you're right. The most impressive thing about the gala was the stories about the students that were helped through the scholarships and made it. They were wonderful. Okay, the next one is D'Angelo Hunter.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Good to see you all this fine evening. a lot darker nowadays at this time. But first and foremost, I do want to highlight the appreciation towards IVC and their vet center. I haven't been across to the other vet center at Saddleback, but if they're doing just as good of a job as IVC, it's like I wouldn't be in the position I am in today had I not walked into the vet center in 2019 and spoke with those wonderful gentlemen. So yeah, above and beyond as far as like the vet services, and I'm highly appreciative to what's provided. Sorry, but yeah, I feel totally indebted to so yeah, I'm so thankful to the vet services at IVC. So move into my update. It's kind of a lot, so there's been a lot that's happened. So events wise, ASIVC, we had our in-person luncheon last towards the end of last month. I know we mentioned we were going to. That was really awesome to see so many student leaders all in one place. We had our president, we had vice president come by. We had, it was a full house, so kind of a deal. We ate outside. It was amazing. Got to meet all of our student leaders. Super proud of them. So it's good to see them in person. And then today we had our Walk of Hope, which is an event for suicide prevention and awareness. Besides general information and that awareness being brought up, they had a panel to where students could ask questions about whether about the feelings they were maybe had towards that, or like friends and whatnot, like how to identify signs. So that was a good event that happened today. Last week we had the first gen in college. What was this last week? I'm like some weeks are blurring together, but we had our first gen college student celebration. We celebrated first gen students by handing out students all week and sharing stories of other first gen students. We had an online event to cap off after the 3 days of handing out different kind of swag for all the different all the different first gen students or other students that wanted them. And so there was an online portion that was led by a student panel. And I would say that was probably one of the more successful online kind of events to happen. So I was, again, super proud of the students that stepped up and were on that panel. I want to bring up the Halloween and El Dia de los Muertos events. That was also, we maxed out our food resources, full house kind of event. We had multiple costume contests, pumpkin decoration. We had a little tierra, which is kind of like Mexican bingo, if you wanted to compare it to something, and a shrine to pay respects and respect to the Dia de los Muertos part of the event. Just a lot of stuff kind of going on. So it's been awesome, and we're just really awesome to be back on campus a bit more. We have been working with the student trustee team on an event to help fundraise for the Refugee Emergency Fund. That's been kind of we're still in the works. So I'm hopefully I'm not blitzing this into the meeting and unknowingly to the trustee. So we are working on that, and still more to come to see how we can help. And then upcoming on November 22nd, we have our IVC Cares Autumn meal distribution, which is a drive-through event, pretty much that big roundabout that we have at IVC that surrounds the entire campus. What happened last year, essentially, we're going to do that again. We gave out hundreds and hundreds of meals. I can't remember the exact amount, but most of them were taken as opposed to what happened in person. So I think that'll also be an awesome event. A lot of meals given out, especially at this time of year. And we're already looking into our welcome back events for spring and club day. So, we're just running with everything and all this energy. And then within ASIVC, I know this just got kind of brought up. We're beginning to dive into what concerns of housing insecurity students have and what we can do to help those students. Some of that might mean just collecting and, bring that support, I guess, from our student body, and then kind of work in line with you all since you're already applying for a grant essentially for that. There's a great interest in student-specific housing. So we're also working with our external relations to question Orange Coast College about their student-specific housing, since they're the first community college in SoCal to have that type of housing. So we're kind of working with other schools again to see kind of what's going on there. And then lastly, we're also working towards menstrual equity on campus. And that goes from what machines would seem best if we could get them into our bathrooms if possible, and then what particular products would be the best value for quality. We hope to have each building equipped with these products always and kind of like have the system set up so there's never like a lapse in that. And that is it for my report. Sorry for cramming so much in there.
No, thank you. It's good to learn all the wonderful things going on at IBC. It's fabulous. And Satira Mateen, who is our student trustee, is really taking the lead on raising funds for the helping refugee students. So I know she's working with both colleges, so that's wonderful. So thank you. Okay, the next speaker is Irvine Valley College Academic Senate, Dan DeRelay. Unmute.
How we go? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, good evening, Chancellor Burke, President Milchiker, and trustees. I'd like to thank the board for its patience over the last few meetings and allowing time for and listening to public comments about the district's proposed mandate for IVC and Saddleback College. Those comments have certainly been mixed, some by faculty, staff, and members of the public supporting the mandate, and many comments opposing the mandate, the majority of which have come from members of the public. And to say this has been a contentious subject locally, nationally, and internationally is certainly an understatement. But eventually, contentiousness needs to give way to consensus via a consideration of facts, particularly the facts of the virus's rebound now and as we look to the winter ahead. Areas of Central and Southern California, especially Riverside, San Bernardino, and San Diego counties, have seen hospitalizations increase by 20% in recent weeks. Even in Orange County, hospitalizations are up 16% since Halloween, and the average age of patients being admitted for COVID difficulties is decreasing, as unfortunately is the demand for receiving booster shots. The World Health Organization sees the next stage of the virus as resulting in 500,000 additional deaths in Europe due to COVID alone by the 1st of February. One country in Europe, Austria, yesterday confirmed a draconian measure of locking down all unvaccinated persons. But our mandate at the South Orange County Community College District, originally proposed by our student associations, is not draconian. The ARs passed so far allow exemptions for health and religious reasons. They give options to students for online education, and their purpose is to do the very best we can to make our campuses effective, reliable learning environments during a time when much in public life seems reactive and out of control. Educational institutions such as ours must take the lead in modeling thoughtful, considered responses, especially during these times of heightened emotion and even violent outbursts. We owe this to our students and our missions, and therefore I thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening to support the reasonable and thoughtful mask and vaccine mandates that protect our students, staff, administrators, and faculty. And Trustee Witt, I'm glad you're feeling better, and I thank you for your remarks, your thoughtful remarks in your report tonight.
Yeah, thank you, Professor DeRelay. You're right. The wave of COVID going across Europe is really scary. They locked down in Austria yesterday. Thousands of people are just dying because it's getting colder, and it's really a very, very serious situation. And over 750,000 people have died. 700 children have died in the U.S. That's just in the U.S. alone, and the worldwide situation is getting out of control. So we need to do something to stop it, so our students and our faculty and our staff don't get sick. So thank you. I appreciate your remarks. Next, Saddleback College Academic Senate, Margot Lovett.
Good evening, everyone. I also would like to speak about the gala, which I attended as well. And like the trustees, I agree that one of the most inspiring events each academic year is indeed the Saddleback College Foundation's Gala. The gala epitomizes the best of our community, which generously provides students with needed financial support to meet their educational goals. This year, we heard on video from 3 outstanding students. Each discussed overcoming challenges and spoke about a particular professor who believed in them and helped them believe in themselves. Saddleback became a safe place and a supportive place for them, a place where they were able not only to dream, but to succeed. So it is in that spirit that I would like to share with you the story of one of my former students. Malia dropped out of high school and left home at 17 to escape an abusive stepfather. She was homeless for a while and got into drugs, and then she took a class at Saddleback. When I met her, she was taking 2 classes each semester while supporting herself by working full-time as a restaurant server. Eventually, she transferred to UC Berkeley with a 4.0 GPA. Then she completed a master's degree at Columbia University. And after that, she was recruited as a graduate student by Ohio State University, from which she earned her PhD last June. I suspect that Malia has always had grit and determination and a formidable intellect. What she lacked was a safe place and people who believed in her. Saddleback gave her both these things. So today, we continue to care for our students by providing them with a safe learning environment. They understand and have clearly stated that a vaccine requirement is the best way to keep everyone safe. Let's honor and respect them by listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Lovett. I love these wonderful stories about students. That just got to me. It was a beautiful story. Thank you. And now the Faculty Association of IVC, where Melanie Hyeri, President-elect Vice President, will be filling in for President Louis Long, who is unable to be here tonight.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much, President Milchiker.
Thank you.
Chancellor Burke, Board of Trustees. My name is Melanie Hyeri, and I am the current President-elect of the Faculty Association. Tonight, I will be delivering the Faculty Association's report in Louis's absence. This is my second year as the President-elect, and I look forward to working with all of you when my tenure as President begins at the end of spring 22 and the report. Although it hardly seems possible, the faculty is now gearing up for final exams, and at the end of the semester, and the end of the semester, and the large-scale return to campus for the spring semester. While we all look forward to seeing our students and colleagues in the real world freed from the little boxes on a Zoom screen, we are grateful for the ongoing efforts to keep students, staff, administrators, and faculty safe in the uncertain circumstances that we will face. The association looks forward to working with the district and the colleges to mitigate the disruptions and anxiety that returning large numbers of people to campus will invoke. Tonight, the Faculty Association would also like to recognize the contributions and service of several faculty members who are retiring this semester. As you see on tonight's agenda, Ron Ellison of Theater Arts at IVC is retiring. He has been at IVC for 31 years and has been responsible for many wonderful productions over the years. Ray Chandos of IVC has retired, and he served in many roles as an officer of the Faculty Association. Also, Ardith Lynch from DSPS at Saddleback. She has served as a member of the Association Representative Council. We would also like to recognize with gratitude the service of Kim McCord and Jim Laurie. The overwhelming competency and generosity of both have been essential to faculty contract negotiations for many years. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Hyeri. Next, Irvine Valley College Classified Senate, Desiree Ortiz.
Thank you so much, President Milchiker.
Hi,
Good evening, Board and Chancellor Burke. As D'Angelo stated earlier, we were beyond excited and proud to celebrate our first gen college students. November 8th was the actual date, but we celebrated for 3 days. Our classified professionals, along with faculty and some students, were out in front of our main areas, especially our student services quad, to just celebrate our students, our first gen students. It was so amazing. We had over 150 students come out and visit us. We took pictures with them. We were able to connect with them. The greatest, I think, pride that we all felt as staff and faculty members was our first gen student panel. They came out and joined us and just really stated of the actual help that they've been given from faculty members and staff members at IVC. We were so proud of our administrators who came out and who actually supported us throughout this whole 3 days. And we really would like to mark this as an ongoing event that we will host on IVC. We also started our Caring Campus Ambassador Program, which it launched the 1st of November, and we will run it until the 10th. And we will just recognize a special IVC employee or administrator or faculty member who really go beyond, above and beyond in our Caring Campus spirit. Thank you.
Thank you, Desiree. And I read in President Hernandez's report that he's taken the Caring Campus idea to presidents of community colleges all over the country. It's a wonderful idea. Okay, the next, is there somebody from Saddleback College Classified Senate or not? No? Okay. Then California School Employees Association, Scott Ferguson Green.
Thank you, President Milchiker, Board
Thank
of
you.
Trustees, Chancellor Burke. I have not had the opportunity to speak to you and give a report over the past couple of Board of Trustee meetings due to the fact of various circumstances and a time factor, which certainly has been part of the equation. However, I did want to recognize the fact that we do believe, CSA does believe that in the current negotiations that we have recently been taking place, that we came to a collective bargaining agreement. We wanted to thank the Board of Trustees for accepting the current collective bargaining agreement for 2021 to 2024 that is currently in place. We certainly had some disagreements in these negotiations. They were tough negotiations. There were certain things that certainly came up. One of the issues, of course, being with runaway inflation. That was certainly a topic of conversation and negotiations that certainly was something that was a hot topic during negotiations. However, having said that, the one thing that was consistent through these negotiations were the mutual respect between the district team and the CSCA negotiating team. We wish to recognize Dr. Cindy Viscachill and Executive Director of HR Kim Wittes and their team for showing absolute respect to our CSA negotiating team. And despite that there were certain issues that we did disagree with, we do believe that in the end, our collective bargaining agreement came to be fair and equitable. And so we do appreciate that. Having said that, CSA will continue to fight for our members to make sure that they have a decent living wage and try to keep up with the cost of living, which most of the middle class has not been able to do since the early 1970s. We will keep fighting to make sure that the middle class and our bargaining unit members have that absolute ability to keep up with the cost of living. At this time, I wanted to personally reflect on the memory of Professor Charles Chuck Weghorst. He was a part-time professor at Saddleback College who recently passed away on Wednesday, November 10th. Professor Weghorst taught travel and tourism. I was one of his students many years ago. As some of you do know, I am someone who travels a lot in different parts of the world very often. And because of my taking Professor Weghorst's classes, I was able to really understand each individual country that I visited and the culture, and it helped me enjoy the travel that much more because Professor Weghorst made sure that we were prepared as we went on our travels to different parts of the world. The passing of Professor Weghorst just reminds us that not only his passing, but many others who have been casualties of this horrible disease of COVID-19, that it's just another reminder that even though that we always worry about the big things that could kill us, such as nuclear weapons, hurricanes, and tornadoes. It's also the little things that we need to be hypervigilant that can also kill us, such as viruses and different types of bacteria. And they will kill us. And if they don't kill us, they sure as hell would try, unless we are hypervigilant about our own health and the health of our fellow men, because that is part of giving thanks when we come up to a holiday like Thanksgiving. And so for the future, we have to remain hypervigilant about health, because viruses do kill and types of bacteria do kill. And we have to make sure that we take care of ourselves and each other. As we come up to the Thanksgiving holiday, it's one of my favorite holidays, simply because it's about family, friends, and football. And it is a time to get together where there are no obligations, but to give thanks for what we have, for the actual gift of life. And so I wanted to wish the Board of Trustees, Chancellor Burke, all the administrators, students, faculty, and the classified staff a very, very happy Thanksgiving as we come up to this wonderful holiday. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that nice comments. Thank you. And Police Officers Association, Bo, okay, he's not here. Okay, then next, we have board requests for reports. Are there any requests for reports? No, none. And then there's then the next we have a public hearing. And this will be the fourth public hearing to solicit input regarding the composition of the trustee areas. So do we have a presentation from Redistricting Partners? Yes, I do. Thank you. We are now on board agenda item 5.1, and we're going to conduct a third public hearing to solicit input regarding the composition of our trustee areas. I would like to officially open the public hearing for board item 5.1.
This is actually the fourth public hearing.
Okay, the public hearing on this matter is, yeah, it is the fourth public hearing. Okay, so the public hearing on this matter is now open. Before we have the public hearing, Chancellor Burke will provide an introduction.
This agenda item pertains to a public hearing and presentation for the redistricting update as it relates to voting areas and trustee elections in the South Orange County Community College District. This is the fourth of 5 required meetings in the redistricting process.
We will now move to item 5.2, the redistricting presentation. For the presentation, we'll hear from Elizabeth Stitt of Redistricting Partners. Ms. Stitt, the floor is yours.
I do not see Elizabeth Stitz on, but I did see Paul Mitchell earlier, and I don't see him on at this time. Oh, there he is. I will be
There he is.
promoting him to a panelist. If I can find him.
It says he raised his hand.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Alrighty, I'm Paul Mitchell with Redistricting Partners. I've come before you and presented in the past. I know that I think we're still going to be doing it with your screen instead of mine. So hopefully you've had an opportunity to see the web-based map so you can zoom in and look at locations and identify things. But I'll just go ahead and go through this presentation, particularly in case there are people who are attendees who have not seen this information before. It's good to kind of catch everybody up. So if we can just go to the first slide. I think somebody has to control it, forward it for me.
I don't think we actually did get the web-based maps. So just letting you know that.
I think this is the same issue we had last time where if I
Yeah,
could
it
share
is.
my screen, I could share the web maps, but we did email
Why
those
can't,
in.
why
They
can't,
should.
why can't we share your screen then? If that's all we need to do, why can't we share your screen?
It's not been, that was the issue last time I came. I had all the maps up, but there was no allowing me to share the screen.
Can we share his screen?
While they're doing that, can I ask a question? Paul, is there any way to share the web-based maps outside of doing it during this meeting? Can you send it to us in another way?
I believe they've been sent to your staff, and most agencies just put them up on their websites. They are little HTMLs that you just open up on your computer, or you create a link on a website just to go to it. They're really easy.
So I did send them to all of you.
Yeah, but we couldn't open them.
We can't open.
Can't open them.
They were just a bunch of code on there. There wasn't any picture at all. There was a PDF and
The
another one with a
PDF
bunch
can
of
open,
code.
but it's not really any better than what we've seen so far.
So the way the web maps work is you just save them to your desktop and you double click them and they open. They're little executables. But I can go ahead and show them how they work as well.
You are now able to share if you'd like.
Great.
Great, thank you. Good. Good job.
Let me just get everything set up here. Great. So if I can share screen, I'll go back to my presentation in a second, but I'll just show you these web-based maps.
Okay.
The way these web-based maps work, I don't know how they were sent to you, but if we email them to you and you just download them to your desktop, you can double click on them and they can open up, or we can try to get you just a link that you can click on instead. But this is, as an example, District 1, the Plan 1 that I'll go through in a minute. And with the web-based maps, you can zoom in all the way down to the street level
That'd be great.
to see
do
an
that.
area, or you can type in an address. So you can go ahead and type in, any address that you want.
That'd be great.
And it'll take you to that specific spot on the map. So that is the basic web-based map, but I'll go ahead and refocus us on just getting through the presentation, and then I can come back to those because it's important for this public input hearing that we go over the same information that we've done before and make sure that the public has an opportunity to have some input and understand the process that we're going through. So let me just go ahead and start that.
I don't see how you save them here. It's an HTML prison.
As I was saying to begin, we are undergoing a process of redistricting. The redistricting process is something that we do every 10 years, not just legislature, Congress, places where we normally hear about it, but also local governments, any place with a districted election system. This is an issue that has become rather polarized, very political in our country. Not actually true in every country that we do it like this. But because of that, there's been a lot of laws written and a lot of kind of norms created around fair, open, transparent redistricting. And we're proud to be working with the Foundation for California Community Colleges on a program with a number of community colleges to ensure that they get a good, fair redistricting process. The traditional rules of redistricting, number one on this rules is that districts be equal sized. And that's a really important fundamental aspect of why we even do redistricting. It's that if we have representative government, everybody's vote should count the same, and everybody who needs to get help from their government should have equal access to an elected official. You shouldn't have a system where, one elected official represents hundreds of thousands another elected official represents a few, those few would get a lot better representation than the person who represents, hundreds of thousands of people. And so as a result of that, when we have an agency with 5 or 7 or 15 or even 150 elected officials serving in that agency, we make sure that each of the districts that elect all those officials are equally sized. So legislatures, Congress, and local agencies, cities, counties, water districts, all kinds of places have to do this rebalancing. Districts need to be contiguous. They need to be whole parts. You can't have a district that's just kind of bouncing around in disconnected pieces. Districts should be compact. In California, the definition for compactness is really that nearby populations stay together. You don't bypass a nearby population to go somewhere else and go get a faraway population. Districts in our redistricting in the US, and specifically in California, really emphasize the idea of identifying communities of interest, places that might have a specific issue before that local agency, individuals that might have a concern or a complaint about how they're governed, that they be drawn into districts in a way that maximizes their ability to get representation and have electoral power. This is a fundamental aspect of redistricting that goes back as long as redistricting does. And that is the idea of, let's say we have a core group and that group is concerned about their governance. Would you want to draw districts that takes everybody in that group and slices them into like a pizza slices so that, each one of those districts that you draw kind of cares a little bit about that agency, about those people, so that you're dividing their representation into pieces, but ensuring everybody cares about them? Or do you conversely want to draw districts that maximizes the number of districts that they can be represented in so that they can elect somebody who's a real champion? And there have been changes in redistricting over the centuries, but really in the US, we have fallen into the camp that redistricting should look for communities that have a cohesive interest and then draw districts around those communities to make sure that they have a strengthened access to representation and electoral power. And then using other existing boundaries like city council district boundaries or county boundaries or school board boundaries and other ways to draw lines is kind of another best practice. In California, we have the Fair Maps Act for cities and counties. And so we're trying as much as possible to utilize those rules as a best practice for our redistricting. In order to help facilitate this process for you, we have developed some draft map plans based on input from you. And now we're soliciting advice from you and from the public about maybe how you'd like to see maps drawn in order to reflect your district. And the 3 maps that we've drawn so far is first a plan that was trying to unify cities in the current lines. The second draft plan 2 was trying to unify school districts. And the third looked at the existing lines and tried to kind of keep within the structure of those existing lines. I'll get into it, but that's very, very hard actually in your district to try to too much utilize your existing lines because of the imbalance that has happened in those lines since the last time you redrew them. If we look at your current districts, to you, they might look like that's what they're supposed to look like. But when we actually look at the numbers, one of the big concerns is that they are not balanced. They're very far from being balanced. Within redistricting, you're allowed things to be equal size, but within a 10% buffer. You can think about it like if you have a district that's supposed to be 100,000 people, then if one is 95 and the other one's 105, give or take, it's a 10,000 cushion on that 100,000 number. And so that's just an example. Every agency is going to be different, but the idea is that 10% buffer makes things pretty equal. Your districts have one district, District 5, that is underpopulated by about a quarter. And then you have District 6 that is overpopulated by about a half. So that inequality that imbalance makes for a much more challenging redistricting. And so again, that's 5 and 6, District 5 here in the purple and District 6 here in the brown. So those are the two districts that have the most population change that has to happen in order for those districts to rebalance. And given the magnitude of that need to rebalance, it's hard to really do a redistricting that just kind of works around the edges a little bit. It's going to impact a lot of seats when you draw these new lines. So like I said, we have these 3 draft plans. Draft plan 1 was looking at unifying cities. And of course we have, like I showed you, this web-based map is one tool. The other tool is the packets that I showed you. So draft map 1. Now, if we're to look at your original districts, you can see there's quite a difference. This district up here was the brown district, and it now has been kind of enveloped by other districts. And then this district, there was one that looked right here, kind of a crescent shape, and that district has gotten a little bit bigger. So this is draft plan 1 and the underlying cities beneath it with kind of the highlights, the red coloring of the actual city. So you can see Laguna Niguel up here in Laguna Woods. And we tried to, as much as possible, utilize the existing city lines as a way to think about the districts. But because of population equality, we weren't able to exactly follow all of this underlying city lines. There's still a considerable amount of city splits. Here it is for the city lines: Laguna Niguel, Aliso Viejo, and that shading was your existing lines. That red district, the large district here in the north, that's the underlying city lines. And when we do this, we find ourselves with being able to create districts where the total deviation, that population deviation, is 7.4. So you're really close to that target population that's right at around 150,000 people. And so that would be a balanced district from the equal population perspective. If we look at Plan 2, slightly different construction, but some similarities. Again, overlay of your existing lines, so you can see where those existing lines are relative to these new lines. And then an overlay of the underlying cities that are within each of those districts. And again, a deviation of 7.7. And then Plan 3, you can see some significant change. In fact, I think the biggest change in Plan 3 is you kind of lose this concept of a district that's the kind of Laguna Niguel crescent up to Laguna Woods district that we have in the current plan and in both these other iterations. In this district, you can see that crescent-shaped district, that Laguna Niguel, Laguna Woods district, is now essentially broken into 4 different districts. And this district up here is broken into 3 in order to make sure that we get back to that population equality. So this is probably the most, it's the most volatile of the plans. It creates the most change in your redistricting lines. And again, there's the cities, and you can see the cities and how they lay out with those lines. The population deviation, again, it's acceptable at that 6.2. Anything underneath 10 is fine. And for each of these plans, we also have individual district maps that we can go to. As you know, we have this hearing with the map and revisions. We're going to be coming back after the new year. Any input from the public, any input from you can be changed, can modify these plans at that January 24th hearing.
Can I ask a question now? I spoke to the chancellor earlier about this, and she said we have to finalize the map on January 24th. She said that was inaccurate, that we have the final vote on February 28th. So
Okay, we can talk to the chancellor then. I know February 28th is the deadline for community colleges to complete the process. So we can look into if that needs to be revised. And just to let you know, we do have, for all these districts, if you wanted to see an individual district, we have the ability to look at those And you have all those individual districts in your packets. And like I mentioned before, we can look at any of these plans utilizing the web-based tool. I have all three of them up on my website. On the web, I've got Plan 1, Plan 2, and Plan 3 all here. And you can see how those are different, how they're the same. And we can go in and look at any location, search for an address, find the college, whatever you'd like to do.
So Paul, what you're saying, the 28th is a possibility or not? Tell me.
Yeah, I mean, the 20th is, so the rules with community colleges, it's interesting. There are different deadlines for each type of agency. The state mandated a deadline for counties and cities of December 15th. If they have a primary, the deadline is December 15th. If agencies don't have a primary and they just have a November general, their deadline isn't until later in April. The only catch is county offices of ed theoretically could have a say in your redistricting if you don't finish by February 28th. So February 28th is the deadline, not for the state, not for the counties, but for technically a county office of ed. Now, we are working with county offices of ed. None of them want to do a community college redistricting. So it is kind of a deadline that's just more on paper than anything else, but it is one we're trying to make sure the community colleges stick with. It will allow you to have your redistricting done well in advance of any time the county is going to need it. It just allows you to check that box before the county office of ed technically could, ask you for your redistricting plan and say, well, it's due to the county office of ed. They don't actually do anything with it though.
So you're saying
It's like
that's just
it's an archaic thing because, obviously we all used to be part of the K-12 system back in the 60s or 50s, and it's just this archaic language in the code that hasn't been removed.
It used to be K-14. But so how do we know? You're implying that February 28th is kind of an arbitrary deadline. But how do we know if that's the deadline or not?
Well, it is the deadline for the date after February 28th. Within the state of California, any county office of ed can call their local community college and say, where's your redistricting lines? They're due. So that's why we're making sure that community colleges try to meet that February 28th. We're treating that as the deadline.
Okay.
It's not arbitrary.
So if you wait until the 28th, because we don't meet until that evening, potentially,
fine.
because that's when the board votes on the calendar next month. So if we don't meet until the evening and we don't have anything settled until midnight, that's still going to be okay?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The deadlines for cities and counties are real. The deadlines for cities and counties are December 15th, and there's a whole process if they don't meet that deadline. This is a procedural thing. And the county offices of ed we're working with, we're even doing the redistricting for a number of county offices of ed. So February 28th is fine.
So December 15th is the deadline for cities and what? Cities and
Counties.
and counties, okay. Like
Cities
county
that
board-
have primaries, any city that has a primary. So if a city doesn't have a primary, then they have until April 17th.
Okay, yeah, that's important for us to know because, as I was discussing it today with the chancellor, if January would have been the last day to make a final decision, is that possible that January date might be the final date to have a final decision or not?
If you're having a hearing February 28th, then you're fine.
Okay. Because I wouldn't want to, because we haven't gotten the maps yet, the detailed maps yet. We need at least one more time to discuss it and see what these maps mean for the district. Thank you. Are there any other comments from any other board member?
No, I think the timeline seems to be clear. We have plenty of time. We can go up until February 28th to make the final decision, or even after, from what I'm hearing from Paul. When is the deadline for us to submit to do we submit it to County of Ed or the Registrar of Voters?
So you finish by February 28th, then the county registrar will need your data files. We take care of all that. We will give them the shape files, what's called the census block equivalency files, all the technical GIS work. This archaic document called the meets and bounds, which is like a literal description if you were walking the boundary of every district. We'll give them the web map, and we'll also give them the PDF map. They'll also get from the only thing that's really the responsibility of the board is that we get a copy of the agenda from that night, get a copy of any vote that happened so that we can package that with the materials we send to the county registrars. So we'll be taking it from there. We'll take it to the county registrar and get it all processed for you.
So between you and the district, you'll find a way to get us the interactive web-based maps that we.
Yeah, we've sent them several times, so I'll make sure that
Yeah, I
you
sent
guys.
them. I think they just had difficulty opening them.
Yeah,
Well, there were two things. One was a PDF and one was, it just looked like code, and I just
Yeah.
tried to
Yes,
download it and it
and
wouldn't
that's
work.
why you had to click on a
It's-
particular link.
Yeah, it's just a little frustrating for us because it's been 3-4 months now since we started this. We still haven't seen a street map.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, I can just show you that the way that if you have it downloaded to your computer, literally all you do is double click on it and it'll open up on the web browser.
I just tried to do it and it didn't
We've all,
work.
we've all tried. It goes to the Dropbox folder.
It comes from a Dropbox folder.
Yeah.
It comes in as a zip file, it goes into a Dropbox and it says you have to have an app to get to it, and
Yeah.
I'm a tech guy and I can't
No,
get to
they
it.
should
And
just.
I'm pretty techie too, and I can't do it either.
You should just be getting them emailed to you just as attachments to an email. So there doesn't need to be a zip folder. There doesn't need to be a Dropbox link. It should just be an attachment. They're so small.
Okay, so you'll work with the district. You'll figure that out.
Yeah, we'll just get you the email, them sent to you directly.
And just
That'd
quick
be
final
great.
question. Now, the registrar is retiring. Has he retired yet, or what's going to happen
Neil?
in the
Yep,
aftermath of that?
Neil hasn't left yet. He's obviously one of the best
He's staying till
registrars in
March.
the country. And we work with his staff regularly anyway. So Neil's
Kelly?
not the one that has to hand touch it. He has staff that are excellent at the county, and he's built an amazing operation there, and that'll stay, I think, long after he's gone, fortunately.
Great. So trustee Prendergast.
Yeah, I mean, we do these public hearings. We haven't had anyone publicly have input as of yet. Just curious from staff, have we heard anything from anyone in the public with any care in the world on which map so far? Nothing. Okay, just curious.
Yeah,
One faculty commented once, I think,
Did they?
in an earlier hearing. I forgot.
Oh, okay. Well, so then at some point, whether in January or February, we vote on which map we want, and every trustee votes on the map they want, and then how do we determine which is the final iteration that we choose? Let's say,
Someone will make a motion in a second on which.
but let's say you get 3 votes for one map,
No. Someone makes a motion
Yeah.
in a second on which map they like.
Oh, I
Then
see.
you have a discussion,
Uh-huh.
and then you vote on it. If it passes, that's the map. If
Okay.
it
Doesn't pass,
then you go to another one.
Okay, that works. Okay, that works. Okay, thank you. Okay, so are there any other questions or comments? No. Okay, so you'll get us the maps maybe this week. That'd be great. And then I guess we'll see you in January. That's the next time we're meeting, right? With you?
Yeah, and I'll email the maps to your staff right now.
Okay, great. Thank you.
They're right here on my desktop, so I'll
Yeah.
make sure that you get them.
Okay, so there really isn't any need to meet in December. It sounds like right now. So.
No, and we'll be plenty busy with all the counties and cities that have those December deadlines. So
Okay.
next time I see you, the state commission will be done with their work. You'll have new legislative and congressional districts. You'll have new county supervisorial districts, and then we will make sure your lines are perfect.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, we'll see you in January. And thanks for getting us those maps. Okay.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
No. Here we go. Okay, thank you for that presentation. If any members of the public wish to address the board on this item, please use the raise hand feature and you will be unmuted and asked to speak. Also note that comments are not to exceed 2 minutes. Are there anybody wishing to speak? Nobody really cares about this. Is there any further, is there any, it's really not that interesting. Is there any further discussion on this matter by the Board of Trustees? Seeing no further public comment or discussion from the board, the public hearing is now closed. Okay, thanks, everyone. Now we're going to the resolutions. The first is 6.1, our resolution authorizing remote teleconferencing for board meetings pursuant to AB 361. I don't think we really have to read it because this is going to be our resolution every month from now on, as long as we're having hybrid meetings. So can you please call the roll, Madam Secretary?
Trustee Inman? Oh, we need a first, yeah.
Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Okay, so trustee Jamal made the motion. I think trustee Whitwright, trustee Whitwright seconded. Two people seconded it, so we've doubly seconded. Okay, Madam Secretary, can you call the roll? Thank you.
Trustee Inman?
Aye.
Trustee Jay?
Aye.
Trustee Jamal?
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker?
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast?
Aye.
Trustee Rydell?
Aye.
Trustee Wright?
Aye.
Student Trustee Matee?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And the next one is a resolution designating the month of November as National Native American Heritage Month. So trustee Rydell, can you read it?
Yes, I'd like to read a summary of the resolution, which says a resolution is to designate the month of November as National American Heritage Month in celebration of the contributions of Native America to the United States, Americans to the United States.
Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
So trustee Inman, did he make the motion? No, trustee Jay made the motion and trustee Pendergast seconded it. Okay, Madam Secretary, can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Inman?
Aye.
Trustee Jay?
Aye.
Trustee Jamal?
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker?
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast?
Aye.
Trustee Rydell?
Aye.
Trustee Wright?
Aye.
Student Trustee Matee?
Aye.
And the next one is 7.1, Board of Trustees meeting minutes from the last meeting. Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Trustee
Second.
Wright makes the motion and trustee Jay seconds. Madam Secretary, can you call the roll?
Trustee Inman?
Aye.
Trustee Jay?
Aye.
Trustee Jamal?
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker?
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast?
Aye.
Trustee Rydell?
Aye.
Trustee Wright?
Aye.
Student Trustee Matee?
Aye.
Okay, 7.1, our trustees' request for attending conferences, and there's 3 conferences in January, 2 in January, 1 in February on the list. Is there a motion and a second for this?
Is anybody going?
I don't think anybody's signed up to go yet, but they're on there.
Signed up.
Authorization.
We haven't gone anywhere.
This
We
is
haven't gone anywhere in years.
7.2.
What's that?
7.2.
Okay.
So is there a motion and a second?
Oh, what do we need to, if nobody
Won't
showed
you
up?
do it in advance?
No, we
Yes.
have to,
authorization
it's
to
an
do it?
authorization, so if
Okay,
a
so
board
moved.
member, one of them is the, 2 of them are up in Sacramento, and one of them is in Washington, the one in February is in Washington DC, that's ACCT, and CCCT is in, January, and the one is,
I need a motion.
is there a motion?
I so move.
Okay, trustee Inman make the motion,
Second.
and trustee Jamal seconds it, so, Madam Secretary, can you call the roll?
Trustee Inman?
Aye.
Trustee Jay?
Aye.
Trustee Jamal?
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker?
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast?
Aye.
Trustee Rydell?
Aye.
Trustee Wright?
Aye.
Student Trustee Matee?
Aye.
And the next one is board policy revision. I don't have to read them all. Is there a motion and a second for the board policy revisions?
Move for review and study.
Okay.
Or no, these are
These are
passing.
These
All
are
right,
approved.
move to pass. Or actually, no, I did want to, well, I'll make the motion and then I have a question.
Yeah, one was revised for pursuant to our request.
Right.
Okay, so trustee Prendergast made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
What?
I second it, but
Okay, trustee
Jim
Jay
Ryan
seconded?
seconded.
Oh, trustee Wright seconded, okay. Madam,
No?
oh, no, we'll ask the
No.
questions first and then we'll vote.
So I just wanted to go to that policy that was it I guess my question is to trustee Jamal, is it to your liking now?
Which one now?
The one about,
The
board
board
agendas.
agendas. They
Yes.
say the board
It's
members,
clear now.
Clear now?
Yeah, there's language in there that says that I think board members are to contact the chancellor 2 weeks before
right,
a meeting, and that seems reasonable to me.
All right,
Yeah.
then as long as that's settled, I'm ready to vote.
yeah, that was a good addition to that, okay. Okay, Madam Secretary, can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
Trustee Jay,
Aye.
Trustee Jamal,
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker,
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast,
Aye.
Trustee Rydell,
Aye.
Trustee Wright,
Aye.
Student Trustee Matee.
Aye.
And the next one is Board Policy Revision, BP 7310, Anti-Nepotism, and BP 7330, Communicable Diseases Amendment. And this is for review and study. Right? Right.
So moved.
So moved. Okay, so trustee.
Then I have a
I have
question.
a question.
Okay, trustee Prendergast made the motion and trustee Whitwright seconded it, and trustee Prendergast has a question, and then trustee
We may
Jamal.
have the same question. I don't
This
know.
question's for the chancellor. Based on the email you sent us about the veterans policy on attending and getting credit for that, how quickly is that gonna go through?
Well, it has to go through pretty quickly because it only, I mean, that thing only covers the spring semester.
Right, so we're reasonably sure that our concern for the veterans and losing their benefits will be mitigated by that passage of that.
Passing.
Okay, that's
And I
pretty
think
huge
it's
for me.
delimited specifically to spring 2022,
Right.
and then they would do another one. And that's what they've been doing all the way along.
Which is the same with our policy. This policy is only for spring 2022 at this point. And again, we haven't passed a mandate per se. We've given permission to negotiate with the constituent groups to develop
To
the
develop the
policy.
effects, right.
Right, okay.
Right.
To
so
do with the effects.
Just
right.
making sure to get clear with that.
Right, and
Thank you.
and one of our local legislators, trustee Levin, is one of the authors of that piece of legislation for the Congress. Did you have a comment
I
too?
did. I was concerned about the vets, but I think that seems to have been addressed. If we're talking about the policy itself, which is, I think, 7330, I think if we're going to offer exemptions, which I agree with, for a verified disability or medical condition or sincerely held religious belief, I think if we're gonna put that in the policy also has to contain a testing option. And I think the AR should spell out how the testing is going to be conducted on the campuses. But I think the policy itself should indicate that that allow for testing for those who meet qualified exemptions. If you're going to offer exemptions, then
Testing is
by
required.
definition, you have to offer testing. So I think the policy could say, I thought I wrote the language, but I guess something along the lines of that, the district will allow for, so it starts with the third paragraph, beginning all employees all fully vaccinated. Something like those individuals who meet the exemption criteria shall be or will be allowed to undergo testing to visit campus or attend classes. Yeah, well, they would be, I guess, required to test in order to either visit campus or attend our classes. But I think the policy needs to say something about that those who qualify for these exemptions shall undergo testing when visiting our campuses. I mean,
Yeah, that's all defined in the AR.
but I think
we
it
can
needs to
put
be,
it here.
but I think it should be like a sentence in the policy, and then the AR, I think, goes into some level of detail about, how many times a week and maybe where on the campuses it's gonna be tested, who's gonna do it, are we gonna, yeah. So I think I just think it should be in the policy, so.
Okay.
It's for review and study, so they can look at adding.
Right,
Okay.
next month.
Yeah. Yeah, this is review and study. But it would be really good if that, that, that issue by Levin would be passed so that, our veterans wouldn't be hurt at all by this. So that would be good. Okay.
Which I guess is a safety net. Is there a way to put in the policy an exception for veterans that need to
If you
attend?
start doing exceptions, then it all falls apart.
Okay. So call Levin's office and
Call Levin's office and say we.
call all of your representatives and support this bill.
If people support veterans, I think they would be in favor of this. So, but you're right. You know.
I have a question.
Oh yes, Trustee Inman.
Yes, will these policies be on the website
Yes.
will they be very visible? Because I think much of the concern is that it seems that many people in the public think that it's done and there aren't exceptions. They didn't understand that it wasn't done. It was, what we voted for was to get all of the details, but we didn't have the details yet.
So the policies are available through board docs. And then do we still have the links, or is it only through board docs now?
No, they're on the website.
So you can get to them from the Board of Trustees website and then also through board docs.
No, I'm thinking somebody living, 3 miles from here who's angry because they don't think there are exemptions. They just think it's, either be vaccinated or you can't go. How are we going to let them know that it's different? That there are some of the things they're saying that are going to happen.
Right.
Right. I take that, that's.
No, there are
well
exemptions
said.
and that they have to get tested. I think we have to put that out there publicly about the testing.
Can we put something on our website where we keep saying we have to go to, the board policies, et cetera? Can we just put something on our website that addresses mandates? Because everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
And that's
what
a
I'm
good
saying.
point, Carolyn. Very good point, is that we could just put it somewhere, it's different. Put it in a square and say, information about mandates at this district, at Saddleback College and IVC. Here's the link. Make it easy.
Right, so once this passes, we can do something on the homepage directly.
Excellent. Good idea, Carolyn.
Dr. Burke,
Yes.
Yes.
can I make a suggestion on language for the policy to make sure to see if the board is agreeable to that?
Okay.
So Trustee Jamal, if we were to add a sentence to the third paragraph, basically after the first sentence, if we said employees receiving approved exemptions will undergo free twice weekly testing for COVID-19 infection and provide proof of negative COVID-19 test results beginning January 8th, 2022. Does that satisfy what you're requesting?
I think so. Can you just read it one more time?
Yes. And this is coming directly out of the AR. So we can change the AR, but it would read, employees receiving approved exemptions will undergo free twice weekly testing for COVID-19 infection and provide proof of negative COVID-19 test results beginning January 8th, 2022.
I think that's fine. Do you want to, I think just to keep it in parallel form, you may want to say employees and volunteers because the preceding sentence says employees and volunteers as well.
Good idea.
Right, you can do that.
And I thought I wrote this down, but I guess it didn't save in board docs. But yeah, that's good.
Okay. We'll add that and then we'll highlight it when we bring it back to the meeting in December for action.
I like it very much, Anne Marie, but you have to remember that twice a week is per standard now. If our ratio changes, 6 per 100,000, the testing may go to 3 times a week. And I'm hoping that's not happening, but what's happening in Europe right now scares me.
Yeah, it is scary.
So just, being in the medical field, I think we need to, I don't know,
So we could
per
say
county,
twice weekly testing at a minimum,
or,
That does it.
or what?
at a minimum?
Okay. Yeah, because that's standard. Well
Okay.
said. Mm-hmm.
Now, if it
Simple.
includes
Trustee Inman?
May I ask a clarifying question?
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
The free testing is on site at one of the campuses. The free testing would not be anywhere off-site, correct? Vice Chancellor Gable?
It would, we are offering it on campus, yes.
But it is not, I just want to be clear, it's free on-site testing. Someone may not, that wants to be tested outside of our district, that would not be something necessarily that we would, correct? Because while I'm working with the unions, I want to be careful that my understanding was the district will be offering free on-site testing at Saddleback College and IVC. If we just put a blanket free testing, it would mean that someone can go get a test anywhere in the state and we would pay for it. And I do not think that's the district's intent.
Well, that would be in the MOU. I think the other reason that we tried not to be so prescriptive in this language is if we had an abnormally high number of individuals that we're having to test that our health centers wouldn't be able to handle, then we may have to contract out the services for free testing. So I think what we would have in the MOUs and what we need to work out with the unions is the how and where the testing would be. And I don't think we should be that specific in our policy or in our regulations, since it could change depending upon the needs at any given time of the district.
Okay, my concern would be the opposite, that if you just put in the policy free testing, someone could say, I'm in Arizona, I expect to be tested in Arizona. I just want to be clear about what we mean by the free testing. It's not absolute.
No, it's testing. Testing is an impact and effect and an effect of the policy that has to be negotiated with the unions. So that needs to be specified within the MOUs that we have with the unions.
Perfect, thank you.
President?
Yes, okay. Trustee Inman, sorry.
My question was, by adding volunteers to the, I guess, second sentence, if a volunteer only comes on campus once a week, do they have to be tested twice a week?
Oh, that's a good comment.
So my answer would be that we have volunteers that are volunteers for the entire academic year. So those would be twice a week. If someone's only coming on campus once a week, then we would look at what that testing regimen would be. The volunteer would work with the supervising individual in our district, and the supervising individual will work with the health center on a schedule for that person's testing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elliot has his hand raised.
Who?
Elliot has his hand raised.
Elliot?
Dr. Stern has his hand raised.
I don't see him.
It just went away.
Okay, okay, Dr. Stern.
Thank you. If I can just pipe in on that last one. I think we might want to reserve looking at that in the AR, because you actually do need the testing twice a week, even if you're only appearing on campus once a week, because once a week testing is not sufficient to catch COVID in 4 to 5 days. And we don't know which day of the week the person is going to be on campus. So we actually would want to test twice weekly. And as Trustee Rydell said, perhaps more often than that in some circumstances for anyone who's coming to the campus with some regularity.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so do we have a motion? Is that-
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Madam Secretary, can you please call the roll?
Aye.
Trustee Jay?
Aye.
Trustee Jamal?
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker?
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast?
Aye.
Trustee Rydell?
Aye.
Trustee Wright?
Aye.
Student Trustee Matee?
Aye.
Okay, so the next item is the consent calendar items. And
I have a poll.
What?
I have a poll.
You could, okay, what is your poll?
9.6.
Okay, 9.6. Is there any other board member that is pulling any other consent item? Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, trustee Jamal moves for all the, and trustee Jay seconds. This is for all the items with exception for 9.6. So, Madam Secretary, can you call the roll?
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
trustee Jay,
Aye.
trustee Jamal,
Aye.
trustee Melchiker,
Aye.
trustee Prendergast,
Aye.
trustee Rydell,
Aye.
trustee Wright,
Aye.
student trustee Matee.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And then item 9.6, student out-of-state travel. Trustee Prendergast.
So my question on this is,
The AOJ students.
it's been a while, so I don't know if we need to revisit this or get a refresher. But there was a list of states that we were not allowed, and I kind of remember Missouri being on that list. It's not?
I had that same memory, so I checked, and it is not on the list.
Yeah, okay, well, good to know. Then I have no objection to this travel.
Okay, this is our AOJ students. so that's
I make
great.
a motion to approve this
Okay, thank
consent
you.
calendar item
Is there a
9.6.
second? Okay, trustee Prendergast makes the motion and trustee Jay seconds it for our AOJ students to travel out of state. Can you please call the roll, Madam Secretary?
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
trustee Jay,
Aye.
trustee Jamal,
Aye.
trustee Melchiker,
Aye.
trustee Prendergast,
Aye.
trustee Rydell,
Aye.
trustee Wright,
Aye.
student trustee Matee.
Aye.
I wondered.
Okay, the next item is business services. So the first one is the Irvine Valley College Athletic Field Scoreboard Project. It's award of bid to RK and Associates. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
So moves trustee Jay. Is there some second? Trustee Whitwright seconds it. So are there any questions or comments? Okay, Madam Secretary, can you call the roll?
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
trustee Jay,
Aye.
trustee Jamal,
Aye.
trustee Melchiker,
Aye.
trustee Prendergast,
Aye.
trustee Rydell,
Aye.
trustee Wright,
Aye.
student trustee Matee.
Aye.
And the next one is IVC's campus-wide fire alarm control panel replacement project. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Trustee Jay makes the motion. Is there a second? Trustee Trustee Wright makes the second. Are there any comments on this? Pretty important to have fire information. So trustee, Madam Secretary, can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
trustee Jay,
Aye.
trustee Jamal,
Aye.
trustee Melchiker,
Aye.
trustee Prendergast,
Aye.
trustee Rydell,
Aye.
trustee Wright,
Aye.
student trustee Matee.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The next one is the award of master independent contractor agreement for task orders for building automation systems equipment. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
So moved. Trustee Prendergast makes the motion and trustee Wright seconds it. Is there any comment on it? No? Madam Secretary, can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
trustee Jay,
Aye.
trustee Jamal,
Aye.
trustee Melchiker,
Aye.
trustee Prendergast,
Aye.
trustee Rydell,
Aye.
trustee Wright,
Aye.
student trustee Matee.
Aye.
And the next one is the award of master agreement for district-wide CEQA, environmental consulting services for our district. So is there a motion and a second? I skipped one?
Yeah, you said.
10.4.
Oh, 10.4, award of master services agreement for COVID-19 vaccine verification services given to Healthcare IT Leaders LLC, and this is for our students, to allow for testing, to allow for vaccine verification for our students, because we have 60,000 students, and our district probably can't handle it themselves. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
Made motion by trustee Prendergast and a second by trustee Whitwright. Okay, Madam Secretary, can you call the roll?
Wait, can I-
Yes, is there a question?
I think it's in the budget item, but just for the public knowledge. So this is not coming out of general funds, correct?
No, it comes from the HERE funds, the first year.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
So the second year, we might be our funds, but the first year is the HERE funds, but maybe by next year, this will all be over, hopefully. So thank you, good question. Okay, Madam Secretary, can you call the roll?
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
Trustee Jay,
Aye.
Trustee Jamal,
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker,
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast,
Aye.
Trustee Rydell,
Aye.
Trustee Wright,
Aye.
Student Trustee Matee.
Aye.
And then the next one is the award of master agreement for district-wide CEQA environmental services, consulting services. Is there a motion?
So
and a sec-
moved.
Trustee Jay makes the motion. Is there a second? No second? Trustee Inman, do you want to second it?
I second it.
Trustee Inman seconds it. Madam Secretary, can
I
you
have
call?
just a quick question.
Yes, of course.
How many firms actually bid? I didn't think I saw it, but Anne Marie, do you know? Do you remember?
Is it in here?
Some of them have very
I-
few people
I
bidding.
didn't see, I mean, I saw the outreach, you know, the email to 16 firms and then the website and then Planet Bids. And I could have missed it. I'm just wondering how many bids did we actually get?
Looks like 2.
Sorry. Okay, took me a minute to get with you guys. There were 2
Okay.
firms that actually bid. And those are really, the 2 firms that bid are really the 2 main firms that deal with the CEQA compliance.
Oh, I see.
Right.
I see. So there aren't that many firms that deal with that. Yeah, I noticed
Pretty
that some of the
Well-
bids are very few people bidding.
Well, there are more than, yeah, for districts like ours, it looks like
Oh,
there's
okay.
2 that mainly do it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Madam Secretary, can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
Trustee Jay,
Aye.
Trustee Jamal,
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker,
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast,
Aye.
Trustee Rydell,
Aye.
Trustee Wright,
Aye.
Student Trustee Matee.
Aye.
Okay, the next item is academic employees and academic employees and academic classified administrators. Vice Chancellor Viscachill, are there any changes?
There are no changes, but there is a lengthy readout. I am required by law to read out publicly terms of the contracts before the board today. These are educational administrator contracts. Please bear with me. I have almost 5 pages of readouts. If you are ready, I will commence.
We don't have a motion and a second yet, so do you want to do that first? Oh, do you want to read the changes first? Okay, you could read the changes first, okay?
Then you get a motion.
Okay.
So the first position, Dean of Enrollment Services, Christian Alvarado, contract dates July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2023, range 22, step 8, annual salary 218, 820, transportation 250, cellular phone 165. Dean of Online Online Education Learning Resources, Dr. Marina Amini, contract dates July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2024, range 22, step 8, annual salary 218, 820, monthly allowances, transportation 250, cellular phone 165. Position Dean of Liberal Arts, employee name Dr. Brooke Bowie, contract dates July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2024, range 22, step 7, annual salary 208, 404, transportation 250, cellular phone 165. Position Dean of Kinesiology, Athletics, and Athletic Director, employee name Daniel Klaus. Contract dates July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2024. Range 22, step 7, annual salary 208, 404, monthly allowances, transportation 250, cellular phone 165. Position Dean of Wellness, Social Services, and Child Development Center, employee name Dr. Jeannie Harris Caldwell. Contract dates July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2024. Range 22, step 8, annual salary 218, 820, transportation 250, cellular phone 165. Dean of Economic, Workforce Development, and Business Services, employee name John Jaramillo. Contract dates July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2024. Range 22, step 8, annual salary 218, 820, transportation 250, cellular phone 165. Vice President of Instruction, Dr. Christopher McDonald. Contract dates July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2024. Range 25, step 8, annual salary 253, 320, transportation 475, cellular phone 165. Vice President of Student Services, Dr. Martha McDonald, contract dates July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2024. Range 25, step 8, annual salary $253,320, transportation $475, cellular phone $165. Assistant Dean of Health, Wellness, and Veteran Services, Nancy Montgomery, contract dates July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2024. Range in step 20 and step 8, annual salary $198,468, transportation $125, cell phone $165. Dean of Mathematics, Science, and Engineering, employee name Art Nita, contract dates July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2024. Range 22, step 8, annual salary $218,820. Monthly allowances, transportation $250, cell phone $165. Dean of Liberal Arts, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, contract dates July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2024. Range 22, step 8, annual salary $218,820. Monthly allowances, transportation $250, cell phone $165. Dean of the Arts, Joseph Poshek, contract dates July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2024. Range 22, step 8, annual salary $218,820. Transportation $250, cellular phone $165. Assistant Dean in Division Director of Emeritus Institute, Daniel Priedel. Contract dates July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2024. Range 20, step 7, annual salary $189,36. Transportation $125, cell phone $165. Dean of Enrollment Services, Corey Rogers. Contract dates July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2023. Range 22, step 8, annual salary $218,820, transportation $250, cellular phone $165. Position Dean of Counseling Services, Penny Scaff, contract dates July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2024. Range 22, step 8, annual salary $218,820, transportation $250, cellular phone $165. Dean of Advanced Technology and Applied Science, Anthony Tang, contract dates July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2024. Range 22, step 8, annual salary $218,820, transportation $250, cellular phone $165. Position Dean of Mathematics, Science Engineering, name Dr. Liana Zhao. Contract dates July 1st, 2022 through June 30, 2024. Range 22, step 8, annual salary $218,820, transportation $250, cellular phone $165. Thank you. That ends my public.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor Viscacho.
You're welcome.
It's a long list to read, but these people are all being given contracts it's important to read it out. I think legally she has to read it out. So is there a motion and second on this item?
So moved.
Okay, thank you. Actually, trustee Prendergast made the motion and trustee Whitwright-Dell seconded it. Did you have a question or do you have something you want to say?
No.
No, I just thought I'd
I think
mention.
trustee Wright seconded it.
Oh, trustee Wright seconded it, sorry. Couldn't hear it from down here. These are some people that have served our district of many years and are retiring. Steve Crapo, Saddleback College Kinesiology, I took off from him, and he's retiring after 22 years and 4 months. Didn't help me, but I did take off from him. Then there was Eddie Graham, Director of Human Resources. She served for 19 years and 10 months. Ron Manuel Ellison, Irvine Valley College, very fine theater arts instructor. She's been here for 31 years and 4 months. And Kimberly McCord, Executive Director of Fiscal Services, and she's been here 10 years. All fine people, so thank you. And Madam Secretary, can you read the roll, please?
Trustee Inman.
Aye.
Trustee Jay.
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker.
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Rydell.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
Thank you. And then the next one is classified personnel actions. So Vice Chancellor Viscacho, are there any changes or?
No changes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
So trustee Jamal makes the motion.
Second.
And trustee, was that Jay? Seconded. And one long-term resignation, Augustin Espinosa. He's worked at Saddleback College IT and he's retiring after 27 years and 2 months. So thanks for all your service. Madam Secretary, can you read the roll?
Trustee Inman.
Aye.
Trustee Jay.
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker.
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Rydell.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
And then 11.3, non-bargaining unit actions. Vice Chancellor Viscachill, are there any changes?
No changes, thank you.
Okay, is there a motion and a second?
I so move.
Okay, trustee Inman made the motion.
I second
And
it.
trustee Jay seconds it. No comments. Madam Secretary, can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
Trustee Jay,
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker,
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Rydell. Trustee Wright.
Aye.
And the next one is item 12.1, and it's the revisions to all of our academic calendars for 3 years, adding the new holiday Juneteenth as a designated holiday observance by the district. Is there a motion and a second?
So moved.
So trustee Prendergast made the motion,
Second.
and trustee Jay seconds it. Any comments? No? Madam Secretary, can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Inman,
Aye.
Trustee Jay,
Aye.
Trustee Jamal.
Aye.
Trustee Milchiker,
Aye.
Trustee Prendergast.
Aye.
Trustee Rydell.
Aye.
Trustee Wright.
Aye.
Student trustee Matee.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, sorry. And then the next are information items, which I'll just read the numbers. The first one is staff response to public comment, then retiree OPEB trust fund, pension stabilization trust fund, quarterly investment reports, facilities plan status report, COVID-19 response block grant monthly summary, monthly financial status report, higher education relief funds or HERF monthly summary, and Saddleback College, Irvine Valley College speakers. Few speakers sound interesting. And then the next one is a written report from administration. So there are written reports from the chancellor, the two college presidents, and from Vice Chancellor Gables. And I would recommend everyone read them. They're very fascinating. Now, do any of you have anything you'd like to say? Like the chancellor, do you have any oral report?
I would just acknowledge our veterans and their service. My father was a World War II veteran, even though he was not born in this country. And happy Thanksgiving to all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, my father was a World War II veteran, and he wasn't born in this country either, so thank you. And then Irvine Valley College president, do you have something? Do you have an oral report?
Thank you, Trustee Milchiker. I wanted to just take a brief moment to acknowledge and thank Jody Titus, Professor of Geography, for her 15 years of service as an advisor to our Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society, our Alpha Omega Mu chapter. And 15 years is an incredible amount of time. And as I'm sure you all know, the backbone of these honor societies and organizations are the faculty advisors. So I just want to appreciate publicly her service and time to Phi Theta Kappa.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And then Saddleback College president, Dr. Elliot Stern.
Thank you, Trustee Milchiker. Very quickly, I just want to acknowledge and commend the hardworking professional staff, all of the faculty and all of the managers at both colleges for being deemed Aspen eligible, making the first cut for the Aspen Institute's award to community colleges, top 150 out of about 1,500 colleges in the U.S. and about 1,000 colleges considered. It is a big honor even to get this far, and both colleges are to be commended, and we don't want to let that go by without noticing it. Also want to do a quick shout out to Liz McCann, Executive Director of our foundation, and her amazing team for putting on a gala that not only raises the stature of our foundation, but raises the stature of our entire college. We will look forward to hearing numbers later, but I understand that we had a record paddle drive, and we'll see levels that we have not reached before in fundraising. So thanks to all the donors who might be listening who participated and gave, but thanks especially for Liz and the hard work of her team for putting on an absolutely flawless gala. Thank you. That's it for me.
Yeah, thank you. I agree. It was a wonderful, wonderful event. Fabulous. So, and it raised incredible amounts of money, the most ever, I understand. And the Vice Chancellor of Business Services, Anne Marie Gable, your report was really fascinating. But do you have any oral report? Wait, you're muted. You're muted. I like the way you explained. I like the way you explained how we won the Red Carpet Award. It was very, very confusing, but it was interesting.
Yes, and that
It
was
was
what,
great.
I just want to acknowledge my team for winning that red carpet award.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often, but, Priya Jerome, our Executive Director of Procurement, Central Services and Risk Management, along with her team, Nick Newkirk, Tony Brady, Danielle Miller, who is one of our buyers, as well as Lois Schwartz, who is another classified employee as a buyer, and then Richard Kudlik and Herb Richter. So they really pulled together, did a phenomenal job. I think it's helping everyone. And so I'm very proud of them and then proud of the district for getting the honor. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Not only, it was really an honor to be nominated, but then to win the actual award there was fabulous. So congratulations. And then Vice Chancellor of Human Resources, Vice Chancellor Viscacho.
No report, thank you.
Report. And then Vice Chancellor of Technology and Learning Services, is he here?
Yes, no
Okay,
report.
Bob reaching. Okay, thank you. Well, I guess that's it. So the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Happy
Yes.
Thanksgiving.